Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you at today's webinar on work-life balance. Myself, Prachinegi from CA Sansaar. For today's session, we have with us very famous and round person, Amogh Lila Ji. Thank you, sir, for
Mhm.
joining us. It was
Thank you very
pleasure,
much.
and it is pleasure for us for having you here. Although you don't need any introduction, but I request CA Stuti Mahajanji to please brief his introduction. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to all. First of all, I would like to thank you, Amogh Lila Prabhuji, to accept our invitation and spare your valuable time on the very precious day and on the occasion of birthday of Vivek Khurana ji. नवरात्रि भी चल रहे हैं एंड आज उनका बर्थडे भी है सो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट सर कि
Wow.
पहले तो विशेष दे उनके लिए देन आई विल
Yeah.
सर प्लीज
Okay, I could not hear you. So, firstly, I should offer good wishes to Vivek sir, right?
या
So, on his auspicious birthday, I pray to Supreme Lord, may Lord Shri Krishna bless him with good health, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, very importantly. And as his name is Vivek, Vivek means being conscious, Vivek means having patience, Vivek also means inner strength. So may Lord Shri Krishna bless him with all of these virtues, as his name is Vivek. And may Lord Shri Krishna also bestow him with the association and company of the best of the people. And as he is shining, may he keep shining. And may he have many more birthdays in his life. And and I wish him all the very best in all the spheres of his life. So I can chant Hare Krishna for him. Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Krishna Krishna to you, Hare Hare to you, Hare Rama to you, Hare Rama to you, Rama Rama to you, Hare Hare to you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Wishing Vivek sir a very, very Krishna conscious, bright, healthy, sparkling, shining birthday. Hare Krishna.
थैंक यू सर Though Amogji needs no introduction, he is a well-known famous, but for a little, I would say he is the co-faculty at ANS Ahmedabad for teaching principles, ethics and morality in leadership. He is also a director of ISKCON Youth Forum Dwarka for the uplifting character amongst youth. He also delivers weekly sessions at NSIT and DTU co-director and corporate trainer. He is a spiritual corporate training wing, delivered sessions on stress management, anger management, conflict management, etc. in various companies. He is also a content writer for spiritual syllabus for practical implementation of spirituality in modern times for Hare Krishna devotees in Delhi NCR co-director and also a script writer. He preaches by his very involving discourses and YouTube videos not only in Delhi but many other states in India and many countries in the world. Now, I would request once again I welcome you to your prestigious platform CA Sansaar. Hand over to you, sir, please.
Thank you very much, CA Sansaar, Prachi ji, Stuti ji, and especially Vivek sir, and all those who are associated with CA Sansaar for inviting me today to talk on a very relevant topic in which all of us are struggling, and that is how to bring a balance in our professional life, personal life, family life, and often when we are not able to balance, so that brings imbalance. And when there is imbalance of any kind, that brings a kind of disturbance. So that's why it is very important to bring balance in life. So I'll offer just some prayers and then we begin. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pavanityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So today we are going to discuss about work-life balance. Yeah, and of course balance has to be there, but as soon as this term balance comes, the picture which immediately strikes the mind is that of a person who is balancing himself while walking on a rope, and the person has got a stick, whether girl or boy, and then they are balancing themselves while walking on the rope. Sometimes the stick is on this side, sometimes on this side, sometimes on this side, sometimes in between, and in this way, the person is able to cross the rope. Similarly, the rope can be compared to life. So when we are walking, sometimes few things take priority, sometimes other things take priority, and at that time we have to use our wisdom that which is to be given priority at what point of time. That's very important, and that wisdom, because that there is a dearth of this wisdom, and that's why being not able to give the right priority at the right time to the right thing, and that's why there is imbalance in life. But yes, we are to balance. Like in a tree also, we can see in the tree, there is balance. The tree has got roots, the tree has got trunk, the tree has got the crown. So the roots, they are not visible, but the nourishment comes from the roots. And of course the trunk is also it's very important part. Reason being, it's a central torso of the whole tree, the whole structure of the tree. And then there is a crown in which there are fruits and flowers, which is contribution. So the crown signifies the contribution to the society. That means if we are acting like a tree, so the crown signifies the contributions which we are giving to the society, the services which we are rendering to the society, the investment which we do in society for the upliftment of the society, in family. That's the crown. And everyone is concerned about the crown. But the crown rests on the trunk. So trunk represents our physical well-being. Our physical well-being. In case we are physically not fit, we are not able to do anything, whether it is family responsibility or corporate responsibility, any kind of responsibility, we are not able to render. Reason being, I am having poor health. So that's why it is very important to take care of the trunk. That means the health also has to be taken care of, the physical health. Of course, sometimes people take care of the physical health so much that they do not have time for relationships. I know people who go for 3 hours every day gymming. Let me have six pack, biceps, triceps, Alexander cheeks, and they look some handsome, hunky guys, impressive to the world, but they are compromising somewhere in relationships. Yeah. So of course we have to take care of the physical well-being as well. Yes, it is very, very important. In fact, it is said that a spiritualist should not have any kind of material desire, but he can have one material desire, and that is good health. Yes, good health is a must for everyone. Like as I was talking last time also when I visited CA Sansaar, and at that time I was talking about the body. The body consists of the five elements, and we should also eat the five elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. We should eat all the five elements. Yes. If you are eating only one element, that is, for example, earth element. Earth element means cholas, bhaturas, and kulche, and then rajma chawal, and pakode. This is all earth element. And I'm not taking the other elements. For water, fire, air, ether, I'm not taking. I'm only taking the earth element. So after some time, there comes the earth element bulging from the belly. ये सर ये आपकी पृथ्वी कैसे निकली? सर हमारे पृथ्वी तो इतना खाया तब तो पृथ्वी गोल गोल यहाँ पेट में निकल के आ रही है. And that's why as the age passes, there comes a belly. You can keep the cup of tea on that belly. Ooh. How many are months? This is 7 months. This is 9 months. In fact, when belly becomes too big, it is 12 months, 15 months. Wow. We have seen people with big belly. But because they are not taking care of the trunk of their life, which is by only taking the earth element. But as we advance in our life, especially when you enter into 40s, like I am into my late 40s now, at least mid 40s, somewhere around that. So my personal experience is that as we enter our 40s, then we are to take less the earth element, and the other elements we are to increase their percentage. So like for example, earth, water, we have to drink lots of water. Somehow those who are staying in metropolitan cities, they don't drink water because they don't feel thirsty. I'm sitting in AC, air conditioning, so I don't feel thirsty. My car is AC, my office is AC, my ghar is AC, और health की हो गई AC की तेसी. Why? Because I'm not drinking water. I don't feel thirsty. Acha, really? You don't take any liquid? Yeah, I do take dal. Oh, dal. A katori full of dal. Is that sufficient? Absolutely not. So less intake of water. Water. Fire. We should also eat fire. Now you say, Prabhuji, how to eat fire? Do we have to take a matchstick and then ignite it and put it inside our mouth? Do we have to do that? No. When we take fruits, fruits have the fire element. Sunlight, sunlight, it is first class source of fire element. But hardly we go outside to see the sun. People get up so late, and then they are inside the house, they enter the car, they go to the office, and then reverse back. But there is no encounter with the sun, no blessings of the sun. So no fire element is coming to the body. And that's why lower back pain, the knee pain is so common nowadays. So common. In case the one who's not having such ailments is abnormal. You don't have knee pain. You don't have back pain. You are abnormal, man. Everyone is having that. But why is it happening? Why? Because we are not taking the fire element. Yes. And that's why we see that the food is not getting digested well. Why? Because I'm not taking fire element. And then I have to put kaim churn, hajmola, and this gola, anardana, phalana, dhimkana. Why this is happening? Why? Because the body is lacking the fire element. We are to take the fire element by sunlight. The first class source of energy is the sun, the bright sun, effulgent, illustrious sun. So all of these problems, they happen in the body because of the lack of fire, and the fire element is very important. Yeah. So earth, water, fire, and then air. We should also have fresh air. Since our air is also conditioned, so what kind of air can we expect? But we should actually take air, sufficient amount of air, especially early in the morning. The air is fresh. The trees, they have detoxified the air, and then our fresh air is there in the morning. But we don't get up early in the morning. We watch Netflix at 11 p.m. I watch best of the movies in Amazon Prime Videos, Netflix, Disney Hotstar, and that's why I get up by 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Ooh, then how can you take fresh air? Yeah. So we should take fresh air as well. It's very, very important. Very, very important. Like pranayama is a very good way of getting fresh air in your body. In fact, many of the ailments, they are cut to the root just by doing pranayama. If we do pranayama 1 hour every day, our body would be fit. Yes. Now, last one is ether, Akash Tattva. We should also eat Akash. We should also eat ether. Oh, you say, how to eat ether, man? How is that possible? How is that possible? Should we go to the rooftop and eat ether? Oh, क्या खाया? Akash. बहुत मीठा था. Makes sense? Of course not. So how do we eat the ether? When we are fasting, at that time we are taking ether. When we are fasting. Like we have Ekadashi. Ekadashi comes fortnightly. And once in 15 days, one should be fasting. Very, very important. But people do not fast. Even on fasting days, people have pakoras. People have French fries. People have sabudana ki khichdi. And we have aloo ki sabzi. We have kuttu ki puri. So what kind of fasting is that? Khane peene wali fasting. Yes. Like Navratras, people eat so much during Navratras. अरे नवरात्रि आ गए, अब अन्न तो खाना नहीं है, तो क्या खाना है? कहते हैं बस यही साबूदाना, आलू के चिप्स. और now I have seen even Ekadashi dosas, Ekadashi parathas, all of is there. It's this fasting parathas, and all of them are there. So if I'm having parathas, fasting parathas, what kind of fasting is that? Fasting popcorns, makhana. Makhana is fasting popcorn. So people eat so much during fasting. One day before, they think, well, tomorrow is fasting. Today we should eat, Baba. Tomorrow is fasting. And then on the day of fasting, well, today, bas, yehi khana hai. This is all what we have. They eat so much. And the next day they say, well, yesterday we had fasting, so today we are eating. So during fasting time, people eat so much. My goodness. So fasting is a day when we give a rest to the body. The digestive system needs some rest, but we do not give rest. We have just new variety altogether. We don't have grains, non-grain feasting, and that is fasting actually nowadays. So we have to eat all the 5 elements. So we have to eat earth, water, fire, air, ether, all the 5 of them, not just the earth element. Usually people are just taking the earth element. So we are to take care of our health. And of course, it's very important that when we take sattvic food, then we also excrete sattvic. People, sometimes they get themselves constipated. Constipation, one of the primary reasons of constipation is lack of fibrous food, unhealthy lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle. On the laptop, sitting, working. On my table, I'm just working, sitting, no movement at all. And in case you feel sleepy, then you go to the coffee machine and you got your mug of coffee. So healthy. Such a healthy lifestyle. My goodness. So there is no movement in the body. Once there was one boy, he was from college, and he said that, and you were discussing that how in Kali Yuga the strength is going down. He said, no, how can you say that strength is going down? I am very powerful. I said, all right. We have a temple, ISKCON Dwarka, and the land, the is say 2 acres land. So let's go to the perimeter of the circumference part. Let's go all across the temple. Yeah, sure, of course I can do that. And we started running. And as we started running, we have covered around say 60 or 70% of the whole track. And he was panting. This is a condition of the young guy who is in college, and he could not cover the circumference of 2 acres land. That is the condition of the stamina. My goodness. And this is not good. This is not good at all. So that phase, it is very important to exert ourselves. This sedentary lifestyle, this has created havoc. This created havoc in the life. Many of the gynecological problems which are happening in girls nowadays, so many of them, is happening because of sedentary lifestyle. They're sitting and they're working. There's no movement in the body. Earlier they used to work, say for example, say they'll clean the floor, and then that's such a good exercise. They have got the grinding mortar, they have got the grinding of the spices. Yes, yeah, that's good exercise. And in case they are taking the floor, they are crushing the floor grains, and that's such a good exercise. You cannot get belly fat by cleaning the floor. Yes, no question of having belly fat and then the side fats. No ways, no question at all. But nowadays, because it's a sedentary lifestyle, and girls are also sitting, and that's why they are becoming bulky. And then they go to Vandana Luthra course for slimming course, because I've got a tire here. It's a tractor ka tire, and then bus ka tire, and then after so much of hard work, finally they get cycle ka tire. Oh. But if you are working physically, you'll not have to worry about all of this actually. And that's why we see earlier the ladies were healthy. They will not have all of these ailments which nowadays girls are having. They are having because it's a sedentary lifestyle. They're not moving. And on the top of it, putting junk food. Junk food makes us a junkyard. As simple as that. Let me go to Zomato. Yes, Zomato. Oh, let's order a pizza for me. A thick cheese, double layer. Yeah, a crispy pizza. And then what will you have? I love pasta. And what will you have? Well, from mainland China, I would like to have some Chinese stuff. Yeah. All junk food. No movement in the body. And that's why we see that health is really deteriorating. The stamina is going down. People are prone to get irritated. There's no freshness on the face. People have to apply creams, Olay, Pond's Age Miracle. Why all of these creams are required? Because there is no shine on the face. Shine is lost because sedentary lifestyle, no movement in the body at all. Health, with physical health, use it or lose it. In case you're not using it, you're going to lose it. And that's what's happening. There's no time. There's no time for physical health. And eating on the top of it is junky. Lord Krishna talks in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17. There is sattvic food, there is rajasic food, and there is tamasic food. And that which is sattvic food is juicy, wholesome, pleasing to the heart, healthy, health-giving, like milk, sweets, milk-made products, vegetables, fruits. Sattvic. Rasic food, they are too hot, too sour, pungent, dry, burning. That's rasic food, spicy food. That kind of food people like. Of course, green chili is good for our health, but red chili is not good for health. So this kind of food is very rajasic actually. Yeah. And tamasic food, which is cooked, already cooked, now it is being stored in the fridge, and then you take it out, put it inside a microwave, and then you take it out and then you have it. That's tamasic. Like meat. Meat is rajasic and tamasic both. Our body is not meant for meat eating actually. You'll see all those carnivorous animals have got side canine teeth are longer. We also have canine teeth, sharp, but they are small. It's like herbivorous animals, not like carnivorous animals. In case somebody's a Dracula, with teeth coming out, he can have meat. So you are Dracula, you can go for it. But we, the human beings, are not meant to consume meat. Actually, we are not meant to. So that's why, to justify it, people, they came up with a new term, omnivorous. That means they can eat veg as well as non-veg. Omnivorous. But actually, we are also supposed to be herbivorous. And sometimes when the meat doesn't get digested, we have to vomit it out. And one study mentions that the disease of piles, it happens 90% to those people who eat meat, because it takes time to come out. It's uh, it's like 30 feet long intestine, and by the time the meat is coming out, it is prone to get stale, and that leads to intestine cancer or piles. Piles is such an embarrassing disease, passing stool, and then there is blood as well. Oh my God, that's painful and that's embarrassing. But this happens to those 90% of those who are meat eaters. In fact, this corona thing happened mostly to those who are meat eaters. WHO released this report that those who are meat eaters, they are more prone to get coronavirus. And that's why Jinping, the leader of the Chinese government, he said, well, I request all Chinese people to be vegetarian to save themselves from corona. So we are not really meant for non-vegetarian food. On the name of being cool, on the name of being a voracious eater, we do that, but actually our health is not meant for it. So we should not actually consume meat. Yeah. So this is tamasic. So Lord Krishna says that we should go for, in sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, we should go for sattvic food. That's also required for good health. So that's a trunk of the tree. Yeah, that's a trunk of the tree. And then comes the roots of the tree. The roots of the tree are not visible. But in case the roots are not nourished, then what happens? The tree falls. In a due course of time, the tree falls. Even if somebody is physically fit, the trunk is good, the crown looks cool, but the roots are not getting nourished. In case the roots are not getting nourished, maybe earlier whatever has been given to the tree, it may live for some time, but after some time the tree would fall. The tree would fall. So what is this? The root. The root is spiritual nourishment. We are to nourish ourselves spiritually as well. We do not nourish ourselves spiritually, and that's why we see that even in corporate sector, or if they are big business tycoons, they've got a lot of money, branded clothes and branded food, yet they are not satisfied. And because when they are not satisfied, then they go for smoking, drinking. There are smoking zones in corporate sector, proper smoking zones. I'm in stress, what to do? Well, they have got smoking zones, and then people assemble there. So what's the agenda in the meeting? Should we take the contract or not? This is what is happening in the smoking zones. But why people smoke, even though it's written it is injurious to health, and all those heart-wrenching pictures are there of cancer, mouth cancer, they ignore it and they still have it. Why? Because the spiritual nourishment is not there. That spiritual care is not there. People are not catering to their spiritual needs, which is devotion to God. And often people make plans for spirituality after retirement. And because they're making such plans of after retirement, and that's why we see that they become spiritually dry. And because they are dry, so not knowing that the solution is actually devotion to God, spirituality, so they then try to fill that vacuum, that vacuum of spirituality, they try to fill it up with smoke, with the smoke of a cigarette, with a glass full of wine, because that emptiness is there within, that's there. And because we we make this spirituality as something which is not so important, which is not so, we don't have time for spirituality. Please try to understand. I'm such a busy person, man. But we see that there are people who are very successful, even from film industry, Bollywood industry, glamour industry, modeling industry. People are frustrated. People commit suicides. I know people even from power background, someone who's an IPS officer, someone who is an IAS officer, making a selfie video of suicide. I can't tolerate what is happening in my life. I'm committing suicide. And then he kept the phone on the table and then he hanged himself. That's so sad. That's really sad. And spirituality is a forte of India. That's our specialty. That's our USP. Spirituality. People come to India to learn what? Fashion? To learn technology? No, absolutely not. People come to India to learn spirituality, and that's our USP. And you will see all other countries, they are proud of their USP. Like China's USP is technology, and they are proud of their USP, their specialty. France, their specialty is perfumes. They are proud of their specialty. Great. USA, their USP is baseball, and they are proud of their specialty. So every country is proud of their specialty. But there's one country who is not proud of their specialty. Do you know the name of that country? The name of the country is India. Our specialty is spirituality. People come to India to learn spirituality, to learn spiritual concepts, because India is a very mystical country. If you do not have answer to any question, come to India, you will get the answer. Not just the answer, bona fide answer, scientific answer, detailed answer, relevant answer. You'll get in India. And that's what the image of India is outside, in outside world. But Indians are not loving their speciality. That's the only country all across the globe which is not proud of their speciality, spirituality. And that's why Indians, in a quest to copy the West, they are no more Indians, and of course they cannot become Westerners. Indians, whatever they may do, they may dye their hair, they may speak broken English with English accent. Yeah, it's such a great idea to be an Indian. I would like to acknowledge that what they're doing is absolutely phenomenal. We may have English accent of Americans and British accent and all of that, but whatever we may do, we cannot become Americans. We cannot. And we are no more Indians because we have left our culture of spirituality. So we are somewhere in between. Like in Hindi, there is a phrase, "Dhobi ka kutta na ghar ka na ghat ka." Neither are we here nor are we there. We are nowhere, and that's the condition of the Indians nowadays. And that's why Reader's Digest mentioned that by 2025, India would be world's #1 country. Wow, world's #1 country in what? In having maximum number of suicide cases among the teenagers. What? No, that's such a sad data. Yeah, that's a sad data, but we are moving towards that sad data because we are ignoring our spiritual culture. Spiritual culture. In old age, you'll do that. You'll see in old age, hardly there are people who are spiritual. All those who make this plan to be spiritual in their old age, how many of them are they actually spiritual in their old age? Just see the old people nowadays. What are they doing? They watch television. They play games, Candy Crush. They are playing games. Some gossiping, Devrani, Jethani. बताओ क्या बोला? भाग गया उसके साथ वो. This is what the old people are doing. Or they are sitting in somewhere outside having some santra, and they are having sun bath. Or taking out juwe, lices from somebody's hair. Wow, what old age, glorious old age. So in old age also people become so dull, they cannot understand spiritual concepts. Once I returned from my office when I was working as a software engineer. I returned home, and my grandmother, she was sitting and she was watching some spiritual channel. Some discourse was happening, and she was also having santra, oranges. And I returned from office and I said, "So, grandmom, what did you learn today?" She said, "Well, I could not understand what they are speaking. But one thing is there, that these oranges are really tasty. I'm enjoying these oranges." That's it. And also in old age, there comes one ego known as white hair false ego. क्या हमने बाल धूप में सफेद किए हैं? हमें सब आता है. We know everything. This complacency leads to steep decline in learning. They did not learn anything because there is ego. We know so much. हमने दुनिया देखी है. We have seen the world. But that's actually ego. Yeah. And because of this ego, old people, they are not able to learn anything. In case they want to learn, they become dull. Because they have become dull-headed, we can just pray for them, we can serve them, we can massage their feet, but they cannot become spiritual, especially those who have got absolutely no background of spirituality in their young age. Absolutely nothing. Very few who have got some background of spirituality in their young age, they are able to do something. In fact, old age is not to begin spirituality. It is to relish spirituality in case you have practiced it from past 3-4 decades. Now in old age you relish rasa, mellow. Yeah, that age is for that, not to begin. No. But in case those who are late, of course, they have to begin. They must begin. But we are to take care of our spiritual needs as well. It is so very important. Like last time also I was sharing that earlier in corporate sector, it was very important to have high IQ people. So all the psychometric tests were designed so that we get high IQ people. But it was observed that those who are high IQ people, they they are the ones who have got the biggest scams written under their names, because they're genius, high IQ. Mhm. So then corporate sector, they decided, no, let's hire people who have got some emotions, some feelings, some humanness in them. So then came the psychometric test, which is designed as per EQ. That means emotional quotient. People should have humanness in them, especially bosses, the leaders, they should have humanness in them. So that's why these new psychometric tests were being designed. And then after some time, it was observed that those who are having high EQ, they also become sometimes so much overwhelmed, so much affected by the emotions that they are not able to focus. लोग भावनाओं में बह जाते हैं और कुछ ऐसा कर जाते हैं कि बस अब कुछ करने के लायक नहीं रहते. ओहो, क्या हो गया सर, क्या क्या बताऊं मैं मैं भावनाओं में बह गया और मुझसे गलती हो गई और बस. People who are having high emotional quotient, they are not able to manage their emotions. Okay, now what to do? People with high IQ, they have got scams under their names. And those who are having high EQ, sometimes they become unproductive because their emotions overwhelm them so much. Then came the third quotient, and that is SQ, spiritual quotient. Those who are high in spirituality, this spiritual quotient manages the EQ, the emotional quotient, and this emotional quotient manages the IQ. So IQ being managed by EQ, and EQ is managed by SQ, spiritual quotient. So we are to nourish ourselves. Roots. The roots are very important in the tree. In fact, they are the most important aspect, the part of the tree, the root. Like in Hindi, it is said, जिनके roots अच्छे होते हैं, उनके fruits अच्छे होते हैं. जिनके roots अच्छे होते हैं, no, roots. Prachi, you can do that. जिनके roots अच्छे होते हैं, उनके fruits अच्छे होते हैं. Yeah, you can do that. You can follow me. जिनके roots अच्छे होते हैं, yeah. जिनके roots अच्छे होते हैं, उनके fruits अच्छे होते हैं. उनके fruits अच्छे होते हैं. Yes, absolutely. So we have to work on our roots. In case our roots are good, then our fruits will be good. And fruits are actually crown, the crown part, which is contribution to the society. So we have to work on our roots. Spirituality cannot be ignored. It's our need. Those who know about Maslow's need hierarchy, so there is physical need, mental need, intellectual needs, social needs, egoistic needs, and which is the need which is at the top. Prachi, do you know that? Which is the need at the top in the Maslow's need hierarchy?
I think living, standard of living.
Standard of living, that comes in physical needs. You have got good food, good place to live in. That's physical need. And there are mental needs, like that you have something to think about. Intellectual needs, something to learn. Social needs, someone to interact with. Relationships. And then egoistic need means recognized by someone. That's egoistic need. And the topmost need, which is there on the top, as per Maslow, the need of self-actualization, spiritual need. Spirituality is our need, and this is being told by not by some spiritualist, by some pravachan wala. No, some babaji. No, here is Maslow. We study Maslow in economics, in commerce. We study about Maslow. Need hierarchy. So at the top there is need, the need of self-actualization, spiritual need, connecting with God. Yeah. And we see that when this need is not being fulfilled, we fulfill it by worshipping some sports stars, film stars, like girls they have got John Abraham in their room, maybe Tom Cruise in their rooms, or Ranveer Kapoor in their rooms. and they admired. Wow, yeah, he's so hunky. Or I really love Ranbir Kapoor. He's so good. Tom Cruise. Wow, Brandon Fraser. Ooh, so hunky, man. Wow. And boys, they have got Katrina Kaif, and then Jacqueline Fernandez. They have all these photographs. They worship them. We worship Jacqueline Fernandez. We worship Deepika Padukone. We worship Ranbir Kapoor, Tom Cruise. We worship them because this tendency to worship is there in the soul. If not God, then you'll worship these people of this world. Some sports star, some film star, Hollywood star, Bollywood star, this star, that star, but all of them are twinkle, twinkle, little star. All of them are little stars. But actually, the pole star, in fact, the sun of the Supreme Lord is being ignored. And that's why people, this tendency to worship, to admire someone, it gets dovetailed or gets misdirected towards people of this world who are from the glamour industry, who are very powerful people, famous people. That's it. But this tendency is there. So spiritual care also is must. So in case we talk about work life balance, we have to take care of our spiritual needs. We have to take care of our physical needs, and that also includes relationships. We have to manage our relationships very well. We should contribute in our relationship. We should not be judgmental in our relationships. So that's why we have to contribute in terms of our relationships as well. And that's also part of our the trunk, the physical well-being, the mental well-being. That's there. Relationships. And then the crown, which is contribution to the society. It's a great pleasure to give. And that's crown. And that is very satisfying. And that's why Bill Gates has decided to donate 90% of his wealth. 90%. Melinda Gates and Bill Gates, husband and wife, they have decided that after we leave, 90% is for donation, for WHO, for UNESCO, for children, for Cry and all that, for some Christian missionaries. Donation. 10% is for their daughter. Because the pleasure of giving is higher than the pleasure of achieving. And that's why all those who are really become successful, they see that I'm yet to experience the highest pleasure of giving, the crown. Yeah, like that. So we should not become so much mad in our lives that we bring imbalance. Sometimes I've seen people when they become very ambitious, and then at last they reach the top. They're on the apex, on the top, but they are lonely. One of my friend, he used to have this motto in his life that in 3 years I'm to become the boss of my boss, and he would play various games to become the boss of a boss. And in this way, he became the vice chairman of a company. But he was lonely. Everyone knew he's such a rascal. He just uses people to climb up in the managerial hierarchy. That's it. And nobody loved him. His life is full of curses, even though he's successful, but he's lonely. Nobody praises him. And that's not richness. But that's not richness. There's a saying, some people are so poor that all they have is just money. कुछ लोग इतने गरीब होते हैं, इतने ज्यादा गरीब होते हैं कि उनके पास बस एक ही चीज है, पैसा, और कुछ भी नहीं है. They compromise relationships, and then they are lonely. So sad, really sad. So some people are really poor. But what is real richness? Drop a tear and how many hands come to wipe it? That's richness. That's richness. And that richness is missing in the lives of people. So that's why we have to cater to relationships also. We should not become so successful that I am alone. Now what I'm having a dog. People keep a dog, you know why? Because they're lonely. There's no relationship. And dog is unconditional, is cozy, is cuddling. So I'm having the dog. My puppy dog, my Alsatian, my Doberman. Whoa. People keep dogs because they are lonely. They want loving exchanges, but they have compromised relationships on the name of being successful. So what they are left with is dogs, cats, and their freedom is also impeded. For the dogs, there are streets to move around. For cats, there are streets to move around. But now we restrict them in our house so that I can fulfill that need of mine of relationships. My best friend is my Tommy. Tommy, you're my best friend. Wow. Because lonely. So we have to take care of the relationships as well. And ultimately, the center of all relationships has to be God, Krishna. If God is there as the center of all relationships, then we can really be happy, actually. All right, so this is what I have to say about work-life balance. We have to take care of all the aspects of our lives. I compared the whole life with a tree. There are roots in the tree, there is a trunk in the tree, and there is a crown in the tree, and we have to cater to all of them. All right, I'll stop here now. If anybody has any question, so Prachi, do you have any question from the audience? So you can ask in
Yes,
case you
just
have
a minute.
noted down some questions. So please go ahead. Okay, Saurabh Singh has got one question. Guruji, okay, thank you, Guruji. डिप्रेशन का समाधान भी दो. डिप्रेशन का समाधान तो जी यही है. डिप्रेशन किस वजह से होता है? खोखलेपन की वजह से होता है. जब लाइफ में खोखलापन होता है तो व्यक्ति सोचता है क्या क्यों जी रहे हैं हम, क्यों जी रहे हैं, बस ये खाएं पिए हैं, पेट साफ करें, जब पेट साफ ना हो तो खाएं ये हम इस बगोल, ये जिंदगी है ना, मर जाए तो अच्छा है. And that's why the people get into depression. Life becomes so meaningless. क्यों जी रहे हैं, जी रहे हैं. जैसे कुछ लोग मान लो कोई ट्रेन में कोई चढ़े, कोई पूछे उनसे भाई आप ट्रेन में क्यों चढ़े, बंदा बोले सब चढ़े तो हम भी चढ़ दिए. कहाँ उतरोगे आप, जहाँ सब उतरेंगे हम भी उतर जाएंगे. वाह क्या बात है, बहुत बढ़िया. ऐसे को हमसे पूछे क्यों जी रहे हो आप, हैं जी, हमने पूछा क्यों जी रहे हो आप, सब जी रहे हैं हम भी जी रहे हैं. अच्छा तो लाइफ में करना क्या आपको है, या लाइफ में क्या करना क्या चाहते हैं आप, सब करेंगे हम भी कर लेंगे. वाह क्या बात. जिस तरह से अगर कोई ट्रेन में चढ़े, क्यों चढ़ा, सब चढ़े तो हम भी चढ़े, कहाँ उतरे, सब उतरेंगे हम भी उतर जाएंगे. क्या बोलेंगे उसको, पागल है, खिसक गया पागल आदमी. इस हिसाब से आप देखिए ना, दुनिया के अंदर 99.99% लोग पागल हैं. किससे पूछो, सड़क पे चल रहा है ना, क्यों जी रहे हो, है जी, आप क्यों जी रहे हैं आप, जी सब जी रहे हैं हम भी जी रहे हैं. अच्छा लाइफ में क्या करना आपको, है जी, है बस ये हाँ बच्चों को ब्याह लें, बस हमारी बिटिया है प्राची, बस इसके लिए लड़का ढूंढ रहे हैं, बस बच्चे ब्याह लें हमारे, और जिंदगी में और हमें क्या करना है, बच्चे ब्याह लें, कुछ खा पी लें, कुछ कहीं घूम, तो बस लाइफ कुछ करने को ऐसा है नहीं. एक आम आदमी की लाइफ किसी से पूछें रैंडमली, एनीबॉडी हु इज इन शॉपिंग मॉल आस्क, एंड दैट्स व्हाई देयर इज डिप्रेशन. लाइफ में कोई एम नहीं है, सुबह उठने की कोई मोटिवेशन नहीं है, क्यों मतलब क्यों उठना है, स्पिरिचुअलिटी है ही नहीं. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वैक्यूम ऑफ स्पिरिचुअलिटी people get into depression. लाइफ क्यों जी रहे हैं. एंड दैट्स व्हाई यू सी स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट नेवर कमिट सुसाइड. आपने कभी सुना है भगवान का एक हरि का भक्त था, उसने आत्महत्या कर ली, नॉट इवन अ सिंगल केस. और मटेरियलिस्टिक लाइफ में आप देखें पीपल कमिट सुसाइड्स, इवन फ्रॉम ग्लैमर इंडस्ट्री, पावर इंडस्ट्री, पीपल कमिट सुसाइड्स. तो यानी कौन खुश है, स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट या मटेरियलिस्ट? वेरी सिंपल, वी कैन जस्ट ऑब्जर्व, वी कैन सी हु आर हैप्पी. स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट आर हैप्पी एक्चुअली. स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट नेवर कमिट सुसाइड. They are satisfied, they are happy, they are contributing to the world actually. Yeah, so इसीलिए we should become spiritual. So spirituality की कमी is the root cause of depression. ये जो फंडा है ना, खाओ पियो ऐश करो मित्रों, दिल पौड़े किसी दर्द खाओ ना, ये गाने सुनने में अच्छे लगते हैं, but they cannot become philosophy of life. If that becomes a philosophy of life कि खाओ पियो ऐश करो मित्रों, बस खाओ पियो यार, मस्त है, बस किसी का दिल मत दुखाओ यार, बस और कुछ नहीं यार, this will lead to depression because you're not doing something substantial in your life. ठीक है, अगला सवाल. Yes, Prachi, are you getting any questions? If you have, you can also ask.
Yeah. Same person is asking, लोग हमें भला बुरा कहते हैं तो हमारा मूड खराब हो जाता है, कैसे बचे इस नकारात्मक वातावरण से?
या होता है कभी कभी ना, कौवे जो है गिद्ध के ऊपर अटैक कर देते हैं. तो जो गिद्ध होता है ना, कौवों से नहीं लड़ता. जो गिद्ध होता है वो ज्यादा ऊंचाई पे उड़ना शुरू कर देता है, और वहां पर कौवे नहीं उड़ते उस जोन में. उसी तरह से when people are there to criticize us, so criticism के कौवे आपके पास आएंगे. तो criticism के कौवों के साथ we don't mess up with these crows of criticism. No, we just grow higher. When you focus on the higher ideals in life, the crows of criticism, they cannot harm you. And of course criticism somewhere it is good for us. कभी कभी ना हमारे आसपास जब तारीफों वाले लोग भरे होते हैं, जो हमारी तारीफें कर रहे होते हैं, अरे जी आप तो बहुत अच्छे हैं जी, आपके जैसा कहाँ है जी, प्राची जी जब से आप ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आई हैं तब से तो आपने मतलब कंपनी की शक्ल ही बदल दी आपने जो जी कमाल ही कर दिया प्राची जी. आप तारीफ करने वाले लोग तो हम सबको पसंद आते हैं, राइट. लेकिन जो क्रिटिसाइज करने वाले लोग हैं ना, They are the ones who are giving us those sutras of improvement. Yes. और किसी ने बोल दिया भाई प्राची देखो बेटा आप ना ये बाल बांध के आया करो बेटा, ऐसे खुले खुले बाल होते हैं, कोई चुड़ा चिपक जाती है बेटा इसमें, ठीक है बेटा बाल बांध के आया करो. I think it's a good thing. I can work on it. Yeah, ठीक है, अक्सर मैं कल से पोनीटेल बना के आऊँगी. So thank you very much. So of course criticism से हम we can also learn. Prachi, I'm just joking. Don't take it seriously. So when something can come in our lives, you can just take it कि क्या मैं इसमें कुछ better कर सकता हूँ. Why not? Sometimes there are good criticism also, and we can actually learn, we can grow. Why not? But some criticism they are coming from out of envy, ईर्ष्या. We can ignore it. इसलिए भगवान ने दो कान दिए, इस कान से लो, उस कान से निकालो. That's it. Prabhuji, how can we, okay, Ankur is asking, Prabhuji, how can we know that we are doing Nishkam Karma? Because if we plan anything for future, we have to look into its results. Yes. लेकिन ना जब आप काम कर रहे हो ना उस वक्त रिजल्ट के बारे में नहीं सोचना होता. Once you are done with it, then you see the result. पर हम पूरे रस्ते ये सोचते रहे रिजल्ट आएगा नहीं आएगा नहीं आएगा नहीं आएगा, ज्यादा आएगा कम आएगा, यही सोचते अगर हम रह जाएंगे then that is not good. और साथ ही निष्काम कर्म ये भी आता है that inside somewhere we are grateful to God that I am able to do this, and also I am thinking that whatever I achieve being successful in something, I'll offer some part of the result to God. तो ये भी निष्काम कर्म का हिस्सा होता है of course. And उसके बाद of course you can do planning, but planning में ना we should not be so much attached कि planning जैसी की है वैसा ही होगा, नहीं, changes भी आ सकते हैं. In case you plan for A, B, C, maybe something else can happen. अल्फा बीटा गामा हो गया, हो, पर हम सोचे चलो अल्फा बीटा गामा हो सकता है, लेकिन उन दो स्ट्रेस भी हो गया, अरे लाइफ में हो सकता है. So we should always be ready for changes in life. ठीक है. So you can have some planning. At the same time, we should be ready for some dynamic change in life because we are not the controllers. God is controller. Yeah. Okay, next question is from Vishnu Mohan. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna to you as well. I wanted to do business in large scale. Can I manage both business and spiritual life or sacrifice my desire? Well, of course you can manage both of them. In the morning, you do spirituality. You get up early in the morning. You chant the names of God. You read Bhagavad Gita for half an hour. Once in a week, come to the temple, do some kind of seva or contribution, hear about the Lord, ask doubts. The rest of the time, you can do business. But in business also, do not get into that complicated business that you are to really push yourself so much that you are not able to focus on spiritual life. So do business, but not to the extent that you compromise your relationships, your health, yourself. We have to do balance. अल्टीमेटली तो बिजनेस किस लिए करना है? दो थी रोटी कमाने के लिए. दो थी रोटी अपने छोटे बिजनेस में अपने आराम से जाती है. या लाइक दैट. ओके, चंदन पूछ रहे हैं दिन में कितनी देर तक पूजा करें? Well, I recommend in the morning, of course, in case you can have 2 hours of chanting Hare Krishna, which also includes Bhagavad Gita, that's perfect. But in case you can't do 2 hours, oh my God, that's way too much. So आप शुरुआत कुछ से करें, 15 मिनट से करें, कुछ से शुरुआत करें. Yes, and it should not be like ritualistic worship. ये मोगरा फ्लेवर की साइकिल ब्रांड अगरबत्ती इसलिए घुमा रहा हूं मैं, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, कश मिठे तन का, इसके बाद ना आप मेरी शक्ल देखें ना मैं आपकी शक्ल देखूं प्रभु. ठीक है जी, गुड बाय. Not this kind of worship. ये तो it's a kind of business transaction actually. So our worship mostly आप देखेंगे इस दुनिया के अंदर there's a business transaction. ज़्यादातर लोग इधर वैष्णो देवी जाते हैं किस लिए? ये प्रमोशन हो जाए, 3 लड़कियां हो गई, लड़का नहीं हुआ जी, इसलिए हम वैष्णो देवी ओ माता रानी पहाड़ों वाली माता तेरी सदा ही जय. तो हमारी इच्छा पूरी कर दीजिए. माँ मुरादे पूरी कर दे हलवा बांटूंगी. ओ माँ मुरादे पूरी कर दे. मुरादे पूरी अगर हुई तो ही हलवा बांटूंगी, अगर मुरादे पूरी नहीं हुई, डोंट एक्सपेक्ट हलवा एट ऑल. Not this kind of worship. I know people who on Deepavali they do gambling. Deepavali है जी, high stake जुआ खेलेंगे जी. What kind of worship is that? Of course not. तो ये जो इच्छाओं वाली जो है ना, इच्छाएं पूरी, लाइक कई लड़कियां 16 सोमवार के व्रत रखती हैं ताकि शिव जी भोले भंडारी हमको भी एक भोला सा क्यूट सा हस्बैंड मिले जो हमारा कहना माने. हम बोले तो वॉशिंग मशीन लगा दो, बोले बिल्कुल भगवान अभी लगा देते हैं. बर्तन मांज दो तो बर्तन मांज दे. तो 16 सोमवार के व्रत. Now this kind of worship is all transaction. It is not worship. And 99.9999% people are just doing transactions with God. They are not worshipping God. It's all ritualistic. It's so hollow and shallow. So not this kind of worship, but genuine, selfless, out of love kind of worship to God. And best way to worship God is to chant the names of God. Like we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. A Muslim can chant Allah's name, a Christian can chant Christ's name, but we should chant the names of God. All right, so Anjana ji पूछ रही हैं, how to start a day to keep myself energetic and motivate. Firstly, you should jump start your day. यानी कि ना बिस्तर से ना मर के नहीं उठना चाहिए. You should just get up, offer some prayers. That's the best start of the day. कई बार मैं देखा लोग उठने में पूरा आधा घंटा लगा देते हैं. वो पहले उठेंगे फिर बैठेंगे, फिर ऐसे, फिर थोड़ा मोबाइल चेक करेंगे, वहाँ पे व्हाट्सएप थोड़ी देर करेंगे. This is not the way to start the day. What a lazy, lousy day, beginning of the day. Of course not. So we should jumpstart the day by chanting the names of God, reading some spiritual instructions for the day, जिन पे हम ध्यान दे सकें. We should begin our day like that. We should take bath early in the morning. Firstly, we should get up early in the morning. People are not getting up early in the morning. लोग उठते ही नहीं हैं. क्यों? रात को देर से सोते हैं. रात को क्या देर से क्यों सोते हैं? जी रात को मूवी देखते हैं, नेटफ्लिक्स पे, अमेजॉन प्राइम वीडियो पे मूवी देखनी होती है. क्यों? क्या हमें एंटरटेनमेंट का हक नहीं है क्या जी? हम भी तो चाहते हैं एंटरटेनमेंट हो हमारी लाइफ में. अच्छा, सारे हक आपको रात को 9-10 बजे के बाद ही शुरू करने होते हैं यार. So that's a bad habit. Early to bed, early to rise makes everyone healthy, wealthy and wise. So you should sleep early, get up early. Sleep by 10, get up by 4. 6 hours of sleep is absolutely perfect for us. So you do that, 4 o'clock, you get up, you chant the holy names, you read some Bhagavad Gita, you do some physical yoga, half an hour, and then take some rest, maybe say 15 minutes, and then start your day. And then you will see you are physically, mentally, spiritually, you are more ready to face the day and the challenges of the day than in a lazy way, in a lousy way, in a crippling way we start our day. That's not the way. That should start the day. So we should start the day with prayers. We should start the day with connection to God, taking spiritual energy from God. Okay, does spirituality helps to heal chronic pain of health issues? Yes, it does actually. Because when our consciousness is on physical level, and because we have wounds on the physical level, so those pains are really hurting us more. More the consciousness is raised to the higher level, those wounds, firstly, they get recovered very fast because of the spiritual energy. And also we transcend that zone of pain. In case you are having mental pains, then if you come to spiritual platform, which is higher than the mental platform, you can transcend even mental pains. So yes, it does. It does. Like many of the devotees, they also got corona virus, but they were not affected. They were chanting, they were saying, well, we have got corona is there so that we can do more spiritual activities. And they were having fun actually. We also got few devotees here in our monastery. They got corona and they were having fun. They were very happy. And we don't have to do anything. We just chant more and more. We read Bhagavad Gita 3-4 hours every day and taking rest, taking healthy food. Wow. So when we have raised consciousness, even sufferings do not trouble us. They do not move us. Okay, Vivek ji had got a question. Next question. Okay, Vanilla, you are done. Okay, Vivek Khurana ji. Prabhu ji, not able to concentrate on anything after mom, dad. Please guide the way. Actually, firstly, we need to understand that whosoever is there with us in this life, they are there as per our prarabdha, as per our karma. Whether with wife, whether with children, whether with the parents, it's all as per karma. If my parents, they leave because of coronavirus, if the coronavirus would not have been there, then it could be malaria, it could be cancer, it could be a road accident, it could be anything, it could be heart failure, it could be anything actually. Because as per law of karma, my date of manufacturing and date of expiry both are there now, fixed. So those who are leaving us, they are leaving as per law of karma. And Shastra, the scriptures, they also mention that when we keep weeping for the people who have left us now, they have left their bodies and they are no more with us. If we keep weeping for them after 4 days of their departure, they do not get next form of life. They do not get next, whatever the next body which they are to get, they do not get, because they have to wait till the time this person would stop weeping, then we can get the next body. So we are actually torturing those near and dear ones by weeping for them, even after so many days have passed. We should not weep for them. We may pray for them. We can pray to Supreme Lord, oh Lord Shri Krishna, please bless my parents. Now they are no more with me. They gave me such nice upbringing. They were such nice parents, such nice parenting. Thank you so much, God, for giving me such nice parents. But I pray for them. Wherever they are, may they always remain under your shelter. Thank you very much. And in this way, we should move on in life. Move on in life. So we should start focusing, because they were part of life. They were a very important part of life. But then we are to still move on with other aspects of our life. So pray for your parents. Remember them, but do not feel morose for them. Do not feel sad for them. That's really unbecoming. That's undesirable. So focus on the other aspects of life. Pray for them and move on. Okay, Raja Gopal ji puch rahe hain, I am unable to start my day early and hence ending the day late. Could you please help? Well, on YouTube, I have got two videos: how to sleep on time and how to get up early on time. So both of them are most widely viewed videos, because that's a challenge which is quite common. Not being able to sleep early and then not being able to get up early. You see, even marriages are not becoming pleasant because of this single activity. Many of the girls, they do not get up early in the morning because they sleep late. Because they sleep late, they get up late, and that's why they are not able to contribute at home. They are not able to cook for the husband. In case a wife needs to capture the heart of the husband, attack the belly, attack the tongue. In case she's cooking for her husband would be remote controlled by the wife. But now this remote control is lost because she gets up late. So she can't cook for the husband. Husband has to leave for the office. So this is happening quite common nowadays. This is not to criticize the girls, but this is to criticize the lifestyle which nowadays, the modern city life, which has implanted in us. It's not with the boys, not just with the girls, it is with both of them actually. But this is leading to not pleasant family life, married life, because they are not getting up early in the morning. So I would say that the details of this, that how to sleep early and get up early, you can go on YouTube and watch these videos. Amogh Lila Prabhu, how to sleep early. Amogh Lila Prabhu, how to get up early. The fast track solutions to get up early. You do that and it will be really helpful to you. Okay, next question is Narendra Datta is asking, पूछ रहे हैं हमसे, Hare Krishna Prabhu ji, currently I am researching Adi Shankara philosophy, which is better philosophy or bhakti. Actually, better philosophy is bhakti, because Shankaracharya ji gave a generic description about God's greatness, and that's known as Advaita. Advaita philosophy is the greatness of God in a generic fashion. And when it becomes specific glorification of God, that is bhakti. And that's what Lord Krishna, he mentions, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. By bhakti, you can know me. By bhakti, you can know God actually. So Lord Krishna recommends the path of bhakti. He says, Patram pushpam phalam toim yome bhaktya prachati. Tadam bhakti uprihitam ashnami prayatatmanaham. By bhakti, whatever you offer, I accept it. Yeah. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja. You have exclusively take shelter of me. That's bhakti. So in this way, I can quote verses after verses. Bhagavad Gita clearly says that we are to take bhakti. Yes, bhakti is the highest philosophy. Bhaktosi me sakhachiti, because you are my friend and you are my devotee, that's why I'm revealing this science to you, O Arjuna. So that's why we see that, and this way there are many such verses. So bhakti is a topmost philosophy. Shankaracharya gave first introduction to the greatness of God by giving a generic description of God. Just like Advaita philosophy of Shankaracharya, like it's generic in the sense, like for example, if I glorify Prachi by saying Prachi is a girl. Okay, is this true? Yeah, of course. But that's a very generic description of Prachi. But in case if I talk about Prachi's specific details, Prachi, she is very good character girl. Prachi is coming from Negi family, and Prachi is having black hair. Prachi, well, pink colors really suits Prachi. Now I'm being very specific in glorifying Prachi. That's bhakti. But Advaita philosophy is generic. Prachi is a girl at the max sitting next to an almirah. That's it. And that's it. Nothing else. Yeah, but that's generic. Very generic. So that's Advaita philosophy of Shankaracharya. So bhakti gets into more details of God. That how God looks like, what's his form, how his smile, his dealings, his qualities, his activities, his paraphernalia. In detail, that's bhakti. So generic is Advaita of Shankaracharya. Details is part of bhakti. Yeah, and detail is a sign of love. Okay, next question.
I think that much queries we have.
Okay, all right, great, wonderful.
Thank you, Amogh Lila Dasji, for giving valuable time to us. It was a great session. Myself loved this session a lot, because webinar is one thing, but how to make that webinar interesting is commendable. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prachi, for your compliments. Thank you, Vivekji, once again, wishing you a very Krishna conscious birthday. May Lord Krishna bless you with sound health, physical health, as well as spiritual health. Thank you very much for inviting me. on your auspicious birthday. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, sir.